Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something really special, vegetables that our grandparents grew, but that have almost disappeared from modern gardens. These are plants that are so resilient, so easy to grow, they practically take care of themselves. We're talking about the ultimate lazy gardener's dream. If you've ever killed a tomato plant or watched your lettuce bolt in the heat, this video is for you. These 20 forgotten vegetables will grow like weeds in your garden, and I mean that in the best possible way. They're low maintenance, incredibly productive, and many of them are perennials, meaning you plant once and harvest for years. So grab your notepad, because by the end of this video, you'll have a whole new garden plan that practically takes care of itself. And stick around until the end because vegetable number 20 is absolutely mind-blowing. It's been growing wild for centuries, and most people walk right past it without knowing it's edible. Let's get started. First up is sorrel, and this one is a game changer. Sorrel is a lemony, tangy leafy green that grows back year after year. Once you plant it, it's almost impossible to kill. It thrives in partial shade, tolerates poor soil, and actually prefers cool weather. French sorrel has a milder flavor, while garden sorrel packs more punch. Use it in salads, soups, or blend it into sauces. The leaves are packed with vitamin C. Plant it once, and you'll have fresh greens from early spring through late fall for years to come. Pro tip: harvest the outer leaves regularly to encourage new growth, and remove flower stalks to keep the plant producing leaves instead of going to seed. Number 2 is Good King Henry. Yes, that's really its name. This plant has been grown since medieval times, but has almost vanished from modern gardens. It's related to spinach and quinoa, and every part is edible. In spring, you can harvest the shoots like asparagus. Throughout summer, pick the leaves like spinach. It grows in full sun or partial shade, tolerates poor soil, and once established, it'll come back year after year with zero maintenance. The flavor is mild and slightly earthy. Think spinach with a bit more character. It's packed with iron, vitamins A and C, and protein. Sea kale is number 3, and it's probably the most elegant vegetable on this list. This coastal plant has beautiful blue-gray leaves and produces thick, asparagus-like shoots in spring that are absolutely delicious. It's a true perennial that can live for 20 years or more. It loves sandy, well-drained soil and full sun. The best part? You can force the shoots in winter by covering the plant with a bucket, giving you fresh vegetables when nothing else is growing. The young shoots, leaves, and even the flowers are edible. The flavor is nutty and slightly sweet, somewhere between asparagus and cabbage. Turkish rocket is like arugula's tough, perennial cousin. While regular arugula is an annual that bolts quickly, Turkish rocket is a perennial that provides spicy, peppery greens year-round in mild climates. It grows in sun or shade, tolerates poor soil, and actually tastes better in cooler weather. The leaves are thicker and more robust than regular arugula, with a stronger, more complex flavor. Use them in salads, on pizza, or anywhere you'd use arugula. Bonus: the yellow flowers are edible too and make a beautiful garnish. This one is wild. Walking stick kale, also called Jersey kale or tree kale. This plant can grow 6 to 10 feet tall and live for several years. It's a perennial brassica that keeps producing leaves year after year. Harvest leaves from the bottom up as the plant grows taller. In its second year, you can actually harvest the thick central stem, dry it, and use it as a walking stick, hence the name. It's incredibly hardy, surviving frost and even light freezes. The leaves are sweeter after frost, making it perfect for winter harvesting. Claytonia, or miner's lettuce, got its name because gold rush miners ate it to prevent scurvy. This plant self-seeds so readily that it can become a welcome weed in your garden. The leaves are succulent and mild, perfect for salads. The unique thing about Claytonia is the way the stem grows through the center of the leaf, creating a little cup shape. It's also one of the first greens to emerge in spring and one of the last to survive in fall. It grows in shade or sun, loves cool weather, and once you have it, you'll always have it. Just let a few plants go to seed each year. Arach is a stunning plant that comes in red, gold, and green varieties. It's related to quinoa and amaranth, and it was the main spinach in European gardens before true spinach arrived. It self-seeds prolifically, tolerates poor soil, heat, and drought better than spinach, and grows to 6 feet tall. The young leaves taste like mild spinach with a hint of nuttiness. Pro tip: the red varieties make incredible ornamental plants and are often grown in flower beds. But they're completely edible. Landcress is like watercress's easier cousin. While watercress needs running water, landcress grows in regular garden soil. It has the same peppery, fresh flavor, but requires zero special conditions. It's biennial but self-seeds so readily that it acts like a perennial in the garden. It thrives in shade, tolerates poor soil, and actually tastes best in cool weather. Use it exactly like watercress in salads, sandwiches, and soups. Once established, it'll pop up every year in the same spot without any effort from you. Corn salad, also called mache or lamb's lettuce, is a delicate, buttery salad green that self-seeds like crazy. It's incredibly cold hardy. We're talking harvesting through snow kind of hardy. In Europe, it's considered a gourmet green and sells for high prices. But in your garden, it'll grow with zero effort. It forms little rosettes of leaves that you harvest by cutting the whole plant at soil level. The secret: let some plants flower and go to seed in late spring. They'll drop seeds that germinate in fall, giving you winter greens without replanting. Wild garlic, or ramps, is technically a wild plant, but once you introduce it to a shady spot in your garden, it'll naturalize and spread. These are the same plants that sell for $20 a pound at fancy farmers markets. They grow in woodland conditions, shade, rich soil, moisture. In spring, they produce broad leaves with a mild garlic flavor, followed by small bulbs. Both are edible and delicious. Important: only harvest 10% of any patch to allow it to regenerate. But once established, you'll have fresh garlic flavor every spring for decades. Hairy bittercress is considered a weed by most gardeners, but it's actually a delicious, peppery salad green in the same family as watercress. It grows everywhere without any effort. The young leaves taste like a mild, peppery cress. It's one of the first greens in spring and one of the last in fall. Just let it grow in pathways and edges, and harvest the young plants before they flower. Skirret was a staple vegetable in medieval Europe, but has almost disappeared. It's a perennial that produces clusters of sweet, white roots similar to parsnips, but less fibrous. It grows in sun or partial shade, tolerates poor soil, and once planted, it divides naturally, giving you more plants each year. The roots have a sweet, nutty flavor and can be roasted, boiled, or eaten raw. Bonus: the young leaves are edible too, and the white flowers are beautiful. The groundnut, or Apis americana, is a native North American climbing vine that produces edible tubers underground. Indigenous peoples cultivated this plant long before European contact. The tubers taste like a cross between potatoes and peanuts, nutty, starchy, and delicious. The plant is a nitrogen fixer, actually improving your soil while it grows. It climbs vigorously, so give it a trellis or let it ramble through shrubs. Plant tubers once, and the plants will spread and multiply underground. Harvest tubers in fall after the first frost. Yes, daylilies. Most people grow them as ornamentals, but nearly every part is edible. The young shoots in spring taste like asparagus. The flower buds are delicious stir-fried. The flowers themselves can be stuffed or battered and fried. Even the small tubers are edible. They grow in sun or partial shade, tolerate drought, poor soil, and pretty much any abuse you throw at them. Once planted, they spread and multiply without any care. Caution: make sure you have true daylilies, hemerocallis, not true lilies which are toxic. Another surprise: hostas. Before the leaves unfurl in spring, the young shoots are a delicacy in Japan called yurui. They taste like a cross between asparagus and lettuce, with a slight crunch. Hostas grow in shade, tolerate neglect, and spread reliably. Just harvest the shoots when they're 4 to 6 inches tall, before the leaves unfurl. Don't take more than a third from any plant. The bonus is that after harvesting, you still have beautiful foliage plants for the rest of the season. Evening primrose produces beautiful yellow flowers, but it's also a complete food source. The roots of first-year plants taste like parsnips with a peppery finish. The young leaves can be eaten as greens. The seeds are pressed for oil. It self-seeds readily, grows in poor soil, tolerates drought, and actually prefers disturbed ground. It's often considered a weed, but it's a useful, productive weed. Best practice: harvest first-year roots in fall or early spring before the plant flowers. Fiddleheads, the unfurled fronds of ostrich ferns, are considered a delicacy. Once you establish ferns in a shady, moist spot, they'll come back year after year, spreading to form large colonies. Harvest only the tightly coiled fronds in early spring. Never take more than half the fronds from any plant. Cook them thoroughly before eating. Never eat them raw. The flavor is unique, like asparagus meets green beans with a slight nuttiness. They're packed with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Sunchokes are the ultimate plant it and forget it vegetable. These tall sunflower relatives produce knoblet tubers that taste like artichoke hearts with a nutty sweetness. They grow 6 to 10 feet tall, tolerate any soil, survive drought and neglect, and spread readily. Some gardeners say they're too vigorous, but in the right spot, they're perfect. Plant tubers in spring, enjoy the tall flowers in summer. Then harvest tubers from fall through winter. Leave some in the ground, and they'll come back next year. Storage tip: they store best in the ground under mulch. Dig as you need them. Crosses look like tiny segmented caterpillars, but don't let that put you off. These small tubers have a delicate, nutty, slightly sweet flavor with a satisfying crunch. They're in the mint family and grow just as vigorously. Plant them once in a sunny spot with decent soil, and they'll spread and multiply each year. Harvest in late fall after the first frost. They're considered a gourmet vegetable in France and Japan, but are almost unknown in North America. The texture stays crisp even when cooked, perfect for stir-fries and pickles. And finally, number 20, chicory. This is the plant I mentioned at the beginning that grows wild almost everywhere, but that most people don't recognize as edible. Chicory has been used for thousands of years. The roots can be roasted as a coffee substitute. The young leaves make bitter salad greens. They're what radicchio is bred from. The plant is a perennial that self-seeds readily and grows in any soil, any conditions. To force chicory for sweet, pale hearts, called Belgian endive, dig roots in fall, pot them in darkness, and watch them produce tight heads of crunchy, slightly bitter leaves. Wild chicory with its bright blue flowers is that roadside plant you see everywhere in summer. It's free food hiding in plain sight. So there you have it, 20 forgotten vegetables that grow like weeds. Let me give you a quick recap and some general growing tips. Perennials covered: sorrel, good King Henry, sea kale, Turkish rocket, walking stick kale. Self-seeders: Claytonia, arach, land cress, corn salad, wild garlic, bittercress. Unusual options: skirret, ground nut, daylily, hosta, evening primrose, ostrich fern. Root vegetables: sunchokes, croissants, chicory. General tips for success. First, start with a few varieties that interest you most. Don't try to grow all 20 at once. Match plants to your conditions: shade lovers in shade, sun lovers in sun. Second, many of these are vigorous spreaders. Give them their own space or contain them where they won't overtake other plants. A separate bed for self-seeders and spreaders is a smart strategy. Third, be patient with perennials. They often take a year to establish before producing heavily. But once they're established, they'll produce for years with minimal care. Fourth, practice sustainable harvesting. With perennials especially, never take more than a third of the plant at once. This ensures continued production. These forgotten vegetables aren't just easy to grow. They're a connection to our agricultural heritage. These are the plants our ancestors relied on before modern industrial agriculture focused on just a few dozen crops. By growing them, you're preserving biodiversity, supporting food security, and discovering flavors and nutrients that have almost been lost. Plus, there's something deeply satisfying about growing food that practically takes care of itself. Many of these plants will also support local wildlife. The flowers feed pollinators, the seeds feed birds, and the foliage provides habitat. You're not just growing food for yourself, you're supporting the whole ecosystem. Where to find seeds and plants? Most of these won't be at your local garden center. Check out specialty seed companies like Baker Creek, Fedco, Territorial, or Botanical Interests. Many heirloom plant societies also sell rare varieties. Online plant swaps and gardening forums are great sources too. Some, like chicory and bittercress, you might find growing wild nearby. Just make sure you have landowner permission before harvesting, and always leave plenty of plants to regenerate. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more gardening content. I want to hear from you. Which of these forgotten vegetables are you most excited to try? Have you grown any of them before? What other rare or unusual vegetables do you think deserve more attention? Drop a comment below. And if you want to dive deeper, I'm creating a full growing guide for all 20 of these vegetables with detailed cultivation instructions, recipes, and preservation methods. Check the description for the link. Next week, we're talking about perennial food forests and layering edibles from the ground up to the tree canopy. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening. Remember, the best vegetables are the ones that grow themselves.